He won the opening round, yes, but he's trapped in a loop. Welcome back to part 2. So in our last episode, we mapped out Nigel Farage's sudden resignation through the sterile lens of game theory. We treated it like a high-speed mathematical chess match, a rapid-fire series of moves and counter-moves among Nigel Farage, the lone politician, and then the watchdog, which is the financial regulators, and the unified establishment, the major political parties that agreed to the election boycott. But in this video, we need to pull back the curtain to examine what lies beneath. Pure strategy from game theory can only tell us how the game is played. To understand why it works, we have to look at the fuel powering the entire machine. Human geography, the structural economics, the millions of pounds in private capital. After all, a master chess player is nothing without a board to play on. So today we are shifting our analysis to political economy, the messy intersection of where money meets political power. First, we are going to dive into the real, raw demographic data of Clacton-on-Sea. We'll look at why its unique population and economic history make it the ultimate geographic incubator for populist movements. Second, we'll break down a core economic concept of rent-seeking. This is the key to understanding exactly why cryptocurrency billionaires are handing over eye-watering, mind-boggling millions of pounds to populist leaders and what they expect to get in return. And finally, we'll look at the history of the ultimate blueprint. It is about Italy's late Silvio Berlusconi. We will examine how he pioneered the art of performing a theatrical in politics about transforming personal financial scandals into absolute political gold. Let's get into it. When the national media reports on Clacton-on-Sea, they usually paint the local voters with a very patronizing brush. They portray them as easily manipulated, politically uninformed, or simply numbed to financial misconduct.
We're here in Clacton-on-Sea in eastern England. It's a seaside town where the locals have just found out there's going to be another election because their MP, Nigel Farage, said yesterday that he was going to resign.
I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea.
And stand again in another local election.
No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
And that has created a bit of a farce.
I think that was a bit of a cock-up myself.
I just can't understand at all, and he's putting another by-election to get him back in again.
It's just a waste of time. It's not really going to achieve anything because all the main political parties aren't going to go for it.
He will be the only candidate standing, apart from, at the moment, Countbinface.
And I urge everyone, no matter who you support, do go out to vote.
Who is a comedian who often stands in local elections in Britain.
Anyone in the UK can not just vote, but you can all stand for election no matter whatever your platform or how idiotic you look. I'm not naming names, Nigel.
I've done nothing wrong.
Farage is stepping down because he is being investigated over a £5 million gift he's received from a cryptocurrency billionaire. He says he's being investigated because of who he is and that he received this gift before he decided to become an MP and therefore he should not be investigated. People here who we've spoken to today are kind of on his side.
Yeah, this time I might actually vote for him because if he's not broken any rules, if it's just people trying to dig up dirt on him, then yeah, he's got a right to complain.
They say he's been upfront about it, and Farage is trying to frame this new local election as a contest between the people who he represents and the establishment.
But if we apply public choice theory pioneered by economist Anthony Downs in his foundational work, An Economic Theory on Democracy, their behavior becomes entirely logical, entirely understandable. Downs proved that voters run strict cost and benefit analysis. When a community has been economically abandoned by the establishment for 40 years, ignoring Westminster's paperwork rules is not ignorance. It is mathematically rational allocation of their attention. Let's look under the hood at the hard cold data from the Office for National Statistics (ONS) census data. Clacton-on-Sea has one of the oldest demographic profiles in the entire United Kingdom. The concentration of retirees and pensioners here is drastically higher than the national average. Financially, its local economy is profoundly isolated. The data shows an exceptionally low percentage of high-paying professional or managerial roles, just 6.8%, compared to a national average of nearly 13%. Instead, the local landscape is completely dominated by routine, manual low-wage seasonal coastal jobs and long-term unemployment. Most starkly, the neighborhood of Jaywick Sands, which sits directly inside Nigel Farage Clacton constituency, has been officially ranked by the government's Index of Multiple Deprivation as the single most deprived neighborhood in all of England. For 40 years, ever since package holidays killed off the domestic tourism boom in the 70s, 80s, successive Labour and Conservative governments in the London have overseen the steady post-industrial economic decline of these coastal communities. So now I want you to picture a scene. Imagine a mainstream journalist from a wealthy London broadsheet arrives in Clacton and asks, "Aren't you outraged that Nigel Farage failed to declare his multi-million pound financial gifts properly?"
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? I didn't even know. So what happens now?
I think it's a good thing, and to be honest, I don't really want my child to grow up in a country with Nigel Farage being a politician in general.
I think he probably needed to do it because everybody who can is trying to poison the political atmosphere against him. And I think he's a breath of fresh air in politics.
I'm really happy that he's resigned. He's just not a very nice man, I don't think.
I know that the local people is loved the Nigel. Very sporting from around here in Clacton, Walton. Yeah, hopefully be winner, I think, you know.
And I really don't care if he's got 6 houses. After all that's gone in the Labour Party and the Tory Party in the past over corruption.
I hope that people will actually look at what they're voting for this time. I hope he doesn't get back in.
I hope the local people aren't stupid enough to vote him back in, and no, I definitely won't be voting him.
The local voters, what do you think they will do? They will immediately run a rational cost and benefit analysis. They look at their dilapidated high streets, their lack of infrastructure, and their hollowed out of public services. They conclude, the politicians who filled out their paperwork perfectly have ignored us for half of a century. Why should I care about forms in Westminster?
What do you think about £5 million donations to Nigel Farage?
Well, if it's donated as a gift and it's just genuinely his money, that's like somebody giving somebody £50, £5, 5 million. What does it matter? That's just, if it's a gift, it's a gift, you know?
I actually think it's disgusting. Like, what is he doing with that money? Makes me wonder.
Personally, I don't really know him. I did vote for him. Not entirely always certain of what he actually does in terms of for the town. You do see him out and about sometimes.
Do you trust Nigel Farage?
No, I do not like the man.
Why don't you trust Nigel Farage?
I just don't trust him. I don't agree with any of his policies or anything like that.
In this environment, Farage operates as a textbook political entrepreneur. It is an economic framework pioneered by Joseph Schumpeter. So, Schumpeter argued that democracy is a marketplace. I repeat, democracy is a marketplace where politicians act like businessmen. And Nigel Farage identified a geographically concentrated, economically abandoned market niche and he offered them a highly specific product, anti-establishment defiance.
That the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election.
To a community that feels utterly invisible to the state for decades, Nigel Farage's refusal to follow the state's financial rules is not a deal breaker. It is a feature, not a bug. It is perceived as proof that he rejects the very system they feel rejected by. Now, if we want to understand the true mechanics of the contemporary populism, we have to look past the campaign trail and follow the capital flow, follow the money. This is the exact point where the populist romance, which is the idea of pure working class uprising populist movement, shatters, collides against the bedrock of economic self-interest, the brutal economic reality. We are forced to confront an absurd contradiction. How can an anti-establishment champion claim to represent the forgotten towns of Britain while simultaneously accepting a £5 million personal gift from cryptocurrency billionaire Christopher Harborne? And I forgot to mention, alongside the free use of a multi-million pound townhouse in central London. How? This is not an anomaly, unfortunately. It is a textbook example of rent-seeking. It is a concept that deeply rooted in classical political economy. So, rent-seeking describes the process where private entities use their vast wealth to lobby, to influence, and to reshape the legal and regulatory environment. They do not invest this money to build factories, to invent technologies, or to create public goods. Instead, they invest it to manipulate the rules of the game so they can extract greater profits without adding any value at all to the society. Related to this case, we can link to what Bank of England's Governor Andrew Bailey recently confirmed, that Nigel Farage had already spoken openly about embracing cryptocurrencies. Nigel Farage raised the issue of cryptocurrencies regulation and the related issues of central bank digital currencies with Andrew Bailey in September last year. So the strategy, the rent-seeking, is vital for the modern digital elite. Today, the highly volatile cryptocurrency sector, the untraceable offshore tech platforms, and a new class of hyper-wealthy independent financiers are engaged in a global existential war against state regulation. They see democratic oversight as a direct threat to their business models. To thrive, they require a toothless state, a government or a state that lacks the capability to audit blockchain transaction, that doesn't have any capability to trace dark money or enforce fair capital gains taxes. Therefore, by injecting millions into a populist party like Reform Party UK, elite capital is making a highly rational business investment. They are purchasing a human megaphone. Farage, on the other hand, he possesses a rare and valuable political commodity, which is a fiercely loyal, emotionally charged voter base. By focusing public anger entirely onto cultural grievances, anti-immigration talking points, and identity politics, the populist leader keeps the electorate distracted. He can mobilize his voters. This is not a speculation, unfortunately. It is written directly into their own policy manifesto. While the public focus is kept on borders, the reform's official contract quietly demands the scrapping of thousands of financial laws and the aggressive expansion of free ports. The free ports, a miniature deregulated tax havens inside the UK where the corporate capital can escape state oversight entirely. The deep irony of the populist economy is that the genuine, verified economic suffering of people in places like Clacton is being monetized. The pain of the working class is being actively weaponized to safeguard the wealth of billionaires from the reach of democratic accountability. Turning financial scandal into a political victory is not a new British trick. Nigel Farage is simply running a script perfected decade ago by the godfather of billionaire populism, Silvio Berlusconi. Berlusconi was a media tycoon and ruled Italian politics for around 20 years in three different governments, 94-95 and then 2001-2006, and the last one is 2008 until 2011. He faced over 30 criminal trials from tax fraud, money laundering to political bribery, but every time the prosecutors cornered him, he did not back down. He launched a counterattack. Berlusconi told his working class supporters that Italy's complex tax laws, financial regulators, and judges were just tools of a corrupt state designed to rob ordinary people. His core message was beautifully cynical. He said, "Yes, I manipulate the financial system. Yes, I hide the money from the state. Yes, I break the financial rule. But only because the rules are rigged. It is corrupted. I am a self-made billionaire who beats the corrupt system. If you vote for me, I'll protect you from it too." Unbelievable. By reframing tax evasion as a heroic act of rebellion, a billionaire successfully cast himself as Robin Hood. While Berlusconi is the pioneer, we see the exact playbook across Europe as well today. We remember when Marine Le Pen was convicted of embezzling millions in EU public funds to pay her party staff. She did not apologize. She claimed the courts were campaigning lawfare to steal the presidency from the French people. Her party leader, Jordan Bardella, even launched a public petition titled "Save Democracy, Support Marine." And it was successfully shifting the entire public narrative The debate in public was no longer about the stolen money. It became about the judges stealing people's vote. When Nigel Farage claims that the parliamentary investigation into his undeclared million crypto gift and luxury townhouse is just a deep state establishment witch hunt designed to silence him, he is actually walking directly in Berlusconi's footsteps. In this cynical theater of political economy, the scandal is not a threat to the populist business model. The scandal is the business model. It provides the necessary friction to maintain a perpetual state of crisis, ensuring his voters remain angry, deeply alienated, and entirely reliant on him as their sole defender against a fabricated elite conspiracy. So when we look at the political circus playing out down in Clacton-on-Sea, we really have to look past the sensational media headlines. What we're witnessing is the collision of two very powerful forces. On one side, it is an advanced tactical game theory. We have a highly skilled political strategist who knows exactly how to rewrite the rules of the game to ensure his own survival. On the other side, there is a much deeper, more profitable political economy at play. This is where the regional inequality and the genuine struggles of left behind coastal towns are packaged and used as a democratic shield, all to protect the offshore capital of a few tech and crypto billionaires. The real takeaway here is not whether Nigel Farage wins his seat back or not. Frankly, the electoral math tells us he almost certainly will. The true lesson is much bigger. Until the mainstream politics actually fix the deep structural economic neglects in places like Clacton, populist entrepreneurs will always have a market. They will continue to sweep in, take that collective sense of abandonment and flip it into a highly profitable, crisis-driven business model. Thank you for hanging out with me for this two-part of deep dive. If you enjoy this kind of structural academic breakdown over the usual media shouting, definitely hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below and let me know which economic framework make the most sense to you. And as always, sapere aude, dare to know. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!